Literacy dan Terjemahan, or the PBLT Society. My name is Puteri Binti Manaf, and I will be serving as your moderator for today's talk. Before introducing our honored speaker today, let me remind you of a few housekeeping rules. First of all,
to enter the record session.
excuse me. Okay. First, please make sure your microphone is on mute at all times in order to not interrupt our speaker. Secondly, please do not interrupt the session. If you have any questions, do type them out in the Webex and YouTube live chat box. Our committee members will help collect all the questions for the Q&A session later. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Also, all participants are reminded that by the end of the talk, there will be a QR code to record your attendance for MyCSD points. And finally, we will finish out with a group photo session. You are encouraged to turn your cameras on for the photo session. For your information, this talk is also being live streamed on YouTube. So please do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, which is School of Languages, Literacies and Translation. More educational programs like this will be held here soon.
对啊，N 免费的吗？我等于是 online 的。
Before introducing
啊，
our
你看得上
speaker, I would like to invite the honored Dean of the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, Professor Dr. Salasya Binti Mohamad, to give an opening remark. With great pleasure, the floor is yours, Professor.
Thank you, Ms. Puteri Suraya, our moderator for today's session on mental health. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good evening and salam sejahtera. Firstly, I would like to thank the PBLT Society for organizing this event or the talk, keeping up with mental health, emotional regulation. This is a very timely talk or session because as we know, day by day, more and more students are having problems with mental health, depression, or any illness similar to that. So as a gesture to address the issue, we have approached the society to find someone who can give a talk on this topic. And I would like to thank our English for Professionals programs chairperson for allowing the society to organize such an event for the benefit of all students. Thank you very much, Dr. Abbas. And of course, I would like to welcome all students to this event. And especially, I would like to give a warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Azmawaty Mohamad Nor, a senior lecturer in counselling and psychology from University of Malaya. We are very honored and grateful to have her again for the second time to be able to deliver the talk on similar issue or similar topic to all our students. So for those who have missed the session last time, this is your opportunity to listen carefully and also to ask questions later on, especially now that we are at the end of the semester at the corner exams are waiting for you, so you might feel that you have been pressured to complete your semester, that is by submitting assignments and all, and then preparing yourselves for the final exam at the end of the semester. So it is very important to be able to cope with the amount of work that you have to face and also the situations that you are in. There are many factors, I'm sure Dr. Azmawaty will touch later on, but this is something beneficial to everyone. Not only the students, but we also as the staff of the school can also learn from this particular talk. So once again, thank you very much, PBLT Society, for organizing this talk, and all the best to all of you. And thank you very much again to Dr. Azmawaty, the guest speaker. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam and thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Professor Dr. Salasya, for the lovely speech. Continuing today's program, let me formally introduce our speaker today, Dr. Azmawaty Binti Mohamad Nor. Dr. Azmawaty is a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Psychology and Counseling in the Faculty of Education in University of Malaya. She is also a licensed counselor since 2011. She has undergone training with the National Population and Family Development Board, NPFD, as well as the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development. Her research is mostly on at-risk behaviors among adolescents and family. At present, she is currently involved in developing a prevention model for elementary school children. Recently, her team has completed in developing a psychological inventory for MRSM students under the MARA grants, 3 COVID-19 related researchers, and currently developing a psychometric testing on e-learning among students in Malaysia and a psychometric testing on academic leadership. Now, you might wonder why exactly did we invite Dr. Azmawaty for our speaker today? Well, for us USM students, we all know that our finals are just around the corner. And of course, we can't forget about the assignments that are still yet to be submitted. So I must know that your mental health must be on the downhill. Thus, we believe Dr. Azmawati could help you with your issues, whether it's caused by internal or even external factors. Therefore, without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Azmawati to give today's talk. How are you doing today, Dr. Azmawati?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing all right. A very busy day today. Okay, so I can begin the session, yeah?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, thank you so much. So first of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Salasia Chetla, Dean School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, University of Science Malaysia, Dr. Alya. This is our second time, yeah, we met. And of course, behind the scene, we have Anis. And of course, to the moderator as well, Puteri and Suraya, and also the project director, Keeping Up with Mental Health. I would like to thank all of you again, once again, because this is my second time with this society, PBLT Society. And I'm going to share about keeping up with the mental health, but more on how we regulate our emotions. So I have actually been very busy these past few days talking about a very hot topic in Malaysia at the moment, polygamy. And I've been invited by Bernama TV's Selamat Pagi Malaysia and Wanita Hari Ini. So by now, it's something very interesting to share with students, yeah? So allow me to share my slides. Okay. Alrighty, so when we talk about keeping up with mental health, emotional regulation, I am sure that at this juncture, we are all quite concerned, especially the students. They are very, I'm sure at this moment you have to complete all the assignments because it's all, nearing the end of the semester. And this is common. Everybody's busy, be it the lecturer, the students. So now today we're going to talk about, first, I need you to understand what mental health is all about as opposed to the difference between mental health and also a mental illness. We're also going to talk about the stigma, from the community and our friends, and how to basically regulate your emotions. So getting to know you. My question is, do you really understand and do you really know yourself? Because most of us, we always talk about mental health, but do you really understand what mental health is all about? If I ask you a question, what psychological makeup is, can you answer me? What is psychological makeup? And do you know that all of us puts on makeup? Now, I'm going to ask this question to Dr. Alya. Dr. Alya, did you put on your makeup today?
I don't know what makeup refers to here, but I'm a guy, so how should I say? I use my gel,
Okay.
yeah, stuff
All
like
right.
that. But no lipstick lah.
I purposely select you because I want to hear from this perspective of a guy. Yes, true. Okay, so when we talk about psychological makeup here, yeah. So when we talk about makeup, people always think that the mask that you put on, not literally, not the face mask, but the mask as in you become a different person with everybody else, but when you are yourself, you are probably, you know, we usually don't present our true selves to people. That's what I'm trying to say. But when we talk about psychological makeup, it's 2-3 different things. I'm going to talk about it later. So now listen to this. Suraya, can you hear the sound?
No, doctor, we cannot hear the sound.
Okay. Never mind. There are actually sounds, but never mind. So, okay, I'm actually listening to the sound. Okay, just hold on, yeah? Let it finish first. So, but what do you see on the screen? Tell me, what do you see on the screen?
Different emotions.
Different emotions. So basically, if somebody comes in the room, okay, yes, thank you, it's emotions, betul tu, emoji, betul juga, you're right. Okay, if somebody comes in the room crying uncontrollably, sobbing tu okay lagi, crying uncontrollably, and you know, they cry out loud and they laugh hysterically, or even, you know, they get angry. Anger is common, but rage, okay, and you know, laughing hysterically, and they get upset. What are you going to do? How are you going to react? Have you ever thought of that? Okay, comfort them. Yes, true, Anis. But how do you do that? And what if, my next question is, what if that person is you? How are you going to manage your emotions? You talk about handling your assignments, yeah? But can you cope? Can you manage your assignments? And at this juncture, most of my students, you know, my own students, my very own students, they came to me and said, you know, they posted on their Instagram. So I'll be, you know, reading through, and then I'll, you know, some concerns when I see that, you know, when they say something, and I will just drop a line and ask them, like, what's happening? And they will tell me that, Dr. Azia, I felt so overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is part of your feelings. It's normal. But here we are at the end of each semester. This happens. Although we tell ourselves at the beginning of the semester, I'm not going to put off my work. I'm going to do it ASAP. I'm not going to procrastinate. But that's what happens, because along the way, a lot of other things happen, that you have to complete your assignments, ad hoc things. So probably most of you will feel these 6 basic emotions. Yeah, this is normal. Happy, sad, angry, sad and probably surprised, okay? And indifferent, feeling of indifferent. These are all 6 basic emotions. And we have 22 other emotions, you know, if you want to go into details. Now, let me just share with you. We have just passed. You can see that my slides are moving, right? Okay, so we have just passed the pandemic phase, and we are now still in the endemic phase. I'm not sure whether we are still in the endemic phase or we are past over it. But whatever it is, COVID-19 have changed the landscape of how we do things. Okay, even in University of Malaya, we have actually started off with having classes face-to-face, like what, 2-3 semesters ago, while other universities have just began doing it this semester, or probably still hybrid. But for our universities, for my own University of Malaya, University of Malaya now no more University of Malaya, yeah, University of Malaya, we are now conducting face-to-face, okay? But depending on whether the students are unwell, most of them, so we still have to do hybrid classes. It has changed the landscape of how you do things. We are now very well versed with the computer in terms of using the apps of Webex, Zoom, a lot of, and even, you have to adjust on how you do your assignments, and probably you have to conduct interviews online, yeah? So, but pandemic COVID-19, it has actually affected most of us. If you see the statistics there, okay, the statistics, you can see that these are the prevalence of mental illnesses that occurs worldwide. Anxiety disorder, schizophrenic, bipolar disorder, depression is the 4 main mental illnesses. Okay, let me just talk about mental illness first, yeah? Disorder, we're talking about penyakit mental disorder. But this is, you know, on the onset of 2019. Masa tu COVID-19 was just, you know, on the onset in Malaysia. Now, in 2020, last year, we have actually prevalence of anxiety disorder and depression have actually increased by 25%. And most of us are affected. I am affected too, although I'm a counselor. I was affected because I was anxious. I don't really understand what this virus is, you know, that you have to put on your mask every time, and it feels like so uncomfortable. Now, what do you see at the far left, the corner, bottom corner, yeah? So what do you see there? Can you please type in the chat so I can see? What do you see? That someone is holding what? What do you see? That picture in blue, tu kan, the background blue. So what do you see? My messed up brain. Okay, great. Anything else? Many thoughts. Yes, you guys are right. Iza, thank you so much. And Anis, that is, you know, usually when we look at it, it's like the tsunami of thoughts. Okay, emotional. I think you have to mute because it's a little bit it disrupts. Boleh tak you unmute kan? Thank you so much. So now you see that, you know, as if you're being pulled in that cyclone of emotion. Now, what I want you to do at the end of this session is to look at the picture differently, to have a different perspective. Okay, it's all about your mind, different perspective. It's like you're holding on to that thoughts of yours and you are in control. Do you see how he or she stands? Very grounded and pulling that thoughts and trying to be in control. That's what I want you to do. Okay, now the next slide. And it's not moving, just hold on. Now, what is mental health? This is what we're going to talk about. Some of you have seen this picture, what it is and what is not, as opposed to the mental illness. I think you know what mental illness now is. It's about disorder, penyakit mental that requires you to visit the psychiatrist. When we talk about mental health, remember that psychological makeup. When you get up in the morning, I want you to feel and to think, you know, when you get up in the morning, the first thing that you need to do is to go to the washroom, right? And this is usually what happens. Look in the mirror. This is what I want you to do. Okay, look in the mirror and tell yourself and cite yourself that, hey, I'm going to be okay today. Nobody's going to be able to change or to disrupt my day. Nobody is going to be able to make me feel upset. Nobody is going to be able to make me feel low because everything else is not important. I am important. Okay, so it's all about CAP. I think I've shared this before. Okay, CAP. What is CAP? C-A-B. You are the driver of the CAP. Okay, you decide, C-A-B, you decide whether you want to go to the right ke, left ke, to the front, to the back, is really up to you. But more importantly, I want you to think of, you imagine that whether you're driving the cab towards positivity or negativity, you decide. What the CAB stands for, it's just an acronym. C stands for cognitive. Cognitive tu apa? Is how you think, okay? A is affective, and what it is, it's really about feeling. A, affective is feeling, your emotions, okay? And B is your behavior. Now, you need to understand psychological makeup is what makes a person. Why do I say that? Because it begins from how you think. If you feel that, alamak, I'm so overwhelmed, there's so many assignments, whatever it is, you still need to complete it, right? That is the task. So take a step back, assess. So I want you to not think of so many things. And what we do usually is, if you look at the picture, we tend to overthink. And that overthinking will translate into how you feel. Okay, and that, of course, will actually indicate how you behave. Have you seen anybody that's positive thinking and the feeling, of course, once they think positive, they will feel good and they behave negatively? No. But if they start having a negative thinking or negative thoughts, you will feel bad. You feel your emotion, well, when it could be angry or upset or, a lot of emotions, and it will actually affect your behavior. Remember that. And if your psychological makeup is not okay, what will happen to your health? So all this will actually relates back to your health. So be careful. It all starts from the apa, Suraya? From the mind and how you think. Okay? But, dear students, I just want to share with you this, okay? It's very common for all of us as human beings to worry so much, and then it affects our emotion, and we are trapped. Like you have watched The Bug's Life. Have you watched The Bug's Life? When you were a little boy, little girl? Alamak, is that my era? I think you have, because my children watched that. The Bug's Life is about the little ant Flix, named Flix, and a grasshopper. I forgot what's the grasshopper's name. So what happened to Flix is, Flick is one ant that believes that he could, he was trapped in this small tiny hole. But he uses whatever that he have around him to get out of that little hole, to start traveling again, to make sure that he arrives at whatever plans that he has. Okay, so that's what I wanted you to do. And it's common for us to be trapped in that emotion, but then again, remember, it is not the emotion that controls you, it's how we think. Okay, now, what is mental health? Mental health is, I'm just going to make it simple. It is not about the absence of disease or infirmity. It is all about your physical, mental, social well-being and how you relate with others. When I talk about psychological makeup, it's all about you, kesejahteraan mental. And if you do not have a good kesejahteraan mental or psychological makeup, do you think you're going to have good relationships with people around you? Think about that, okay? And kesejahteraan mental, or even when we talk about mental health means you, us, anybody for that matter, yeah. But mental illness are those people who have, feeling depressed ataupun bipolar disorder, and who are we to judge? Okay, so let's go there later. So now I just want you to understand about your own mental health. What is mental health again? When everybody realizes that it's up to you to decide, okay, and whether you are able to cope with the normal stresses. Because stress is good for us. Do you know that stress is good for us? I once upon a time told my students that, hey, stress is not good for you. But I was wrong. Stress is definitely good for us, but up to a certain extent, because it helps you to get moving. You are stressed because deadline is tomorrow and today you have a talk. Alamak, right? So when are you going to do your assignment? So tonight you burn the midnight oil. But that stress keeps you moving, keeps you going. Okay? And productive daily activities and maintaining fulfilling relationship with others. That's what mental health is all about. And your ability to adapt to change and to cope with stresses. Now, the next one, next slide. Sekejap ya, my slide is not moving. I know that it's definitely not easy. Sometimes it's very tough to avoid feeling stressed. But remember what Dr. Aziz says, stress is normal. What happened? It's gone. Sharing again. Okay. I'm sharing again, okay? It's not easy, but remember, stress is part of us growing up. It's our own growing pains. So if you don't grow, if you don't have stress, if you don't have pain, you will not grow, okay? You will not develop. So worrying about these pressures is normal. But what I'm trying to say here is feeling hopeless. hopelessly devoted to you too is different. Mesti Dr. Alya knows that's a song. But feeling hopeless, worthless, that will actually pull you down, and you may have in the long run, if you keep on repeating this cycle, you may experience anxiety, and then it will lead to disorder, and what we are concerned about is probably depression, and then all the other things, and it will actually affect your health. Now, I want you to see this. I'll talk about psychological makeup, right? So what is psychological makeup? Again, we have talked about the three things. Thinking, tadi tu CAP. Remember CAP, how you drive your CAP. Cognitive, your thinking. Affective, your emotion. And B is your behavior, simple. And this will translate or results in how your physical health will, whether it's going to be okay, whether you're going to fall sick, okay? Have you ever seen people that's happy fall sick easily? No. As simple as that. Okay, so that will result in physical health. Now, what is perception? This is another thing that I want to share with you. Perception, if you can see this bottle of water, what is it that you see here? I'm going to bring it closer. What do you see here? Bottle of water, and what do you see?
A tiger.
The bear is an A&W bottle, but okay, close enough. yes, so delicious. But it's actually just water, and it's half filled or half empty. So perception is how you look at things. Yeah. Okay. Perception is how you look at things. Some people with kita panggil mata, what's B? Bees, right? Bees always look at things and they see only flowers. Okay. But kalau lalat, dia nampak apa? Nampak all these things, negative flies. They see negative thinking. So it's how you train your mind to look at things. What I want also now, signaling. What is signaling? Pinch yourself, please. Pinch hard. Pinch. How do you feel? What do you feel? Pain. When, yes, it's painful, hurt. What happened is you pinch, so the synapses, the neuron, it sends signals to your brain that, hey, this is painful, stop doing that to yourself. But what I'm worried about is perception. We're talking about perception now, how dangerous perception is. I want you to take a piece of paper, because we're going to draw very quickly, very quickly. Take a piece of paper and let's draw. Dah ada paper tak? I forgot to inform Anis earlier. Just a small sheet of paper, piece of paper. One sheet will do. Dah ada? Take a pen or what color, whatever that you have. I want you to start drawing a purple elephant. I'm going to give you about 1 minute to draw an elephant. A purple elephant. Anis, stand by and show me your elephant. After 1 minute, take a picture and send to my WhatsApp. Okay, Anis. Or whoever have my number can do that. Start drawing now, Suraya. Draw a purple elephant. Okay, time's up. Anis, take a snapshot and send your drawings to me, please, on WhatsApp. Anis, I know you're there. she's online now. Let's see how her drawing looks like or turns out. Anis, jom. Okay, wow. Okay, if only I can project this here, but Anis can share tak dekat chat this thing. This is how Anis purple elephant looks like, but I don't think so you can see. I don't think so you can see because it's too bright here. It looks kind of cute. Okay, tapi the tail is quite funny. But that's how Anis perceived an elephant looks like. So when we talk about, how you want to draw a purple elephant, this probably comes out. And you have different kind of imaginations or your perception of how a purple elephant will look like. Some of you may probably draw like Dumbo, that elephant with big ears, right? Some of you may draw the first one on top, yang first one too, that looks like a real elephant. And I may draw my elephant, the one, with that has the bling bling. With batu permata, that will probably be my elephant because I love bling bling. Okay, bling bling tu batu permata tu lah. Okay, so now when I ask you to draw, basically what I want you to do is to draw a purple elephant, but I'm sure you can't draw a purple elephant because you don't have a purple color pen. But usually what we do is we wanted to see if our client actually listens. We want to see the perception of how the elephant looks like, and some of them actually draw an elephant quite, perfect, very perfect. Ataupun some of them drew elephant like a Mickey Mouse instead, or probably teddy bear, or looks like a cat. So it's how you perceive things because it's in your concept of understanding, your schemata. Okay, so now perception is one thing that is dangerous if you start thinking things negatively. So we're going to go into that in a bit. So now, when we talk about mental illnesses, this is what mental illnesses is. Mental health, it will actually be not okay or will deteriorate and go into mental illnesses, but usually no, kalau you can control. But it started off with adjustment issues. When you have issues like sleep problems and difficulty problems and all that lah. Tapi tak apa, I don't want you to think about this sangat. Nanti I will talk to you about it in a bit, okay? So now, people with mental illnesses, these are people that have, like I said, disorder. I want you to know that people with mental disorders can live productive life, can lead a productive life and positive life while they are receiving treatments for their mental illness. And most of them, remember Robin Williams? We didn't know, I personally didn't know that he will commit suicide. He has the intention of suicide because he is the Mrs. Doubtfire, one of the movie. He's always a happy chap. And what happened to the Korean movie stars? Okay, we didn't know that they actually face issues or they actually experience mental illnesses and they jump off, staying in 16th floor and they just jump off. So that's not what, that is something that is to worry or that we are worried about. And we don't realize that, hey, they lead such, orang kata tu lah yang saya kata, not a real, and they hide it. They put on the mask. They're not showing you that they're actually sad inside. They smile, but really they're not okay. Okay. So, mental illness does not respect any boundaries of race, class, or geography. It can happen to anybody for that matter. So now, do you know that mental health, bukan mental illnesses, can be treated? Okay, we are also talking about mental illnesses. If it's, it can also be treated if you see a psychiatrist and take medication. But I want you to focus only on mental health, means your kesejahteraan mental and how you take care of your thoughts, because it will affect how you feel and be translated into your behavior. All right. So what do you see now? What is that on screen? Ants. So what can all these ants do to you? Ants crawling, yes. What can it do to you? So what we are concerned about is the effects of the ants' bites, okay? When we look at ants, I'm one person who is so, when I see ants, I'll be like, oh, go away, because, just macam geli sikit kan. But ants here stands for automated negative thoughts. Okay, I love playing with acronyms, so I'm sharing with you. But what I want you to have in your mind is Charlie Angels. Okay, Charlie Angels, and not Charlie Ants. You know what Charlie Ants, right? If it beats you, okay, it's very painful. Okay, Charlie Ants. Google it later. Now we are talking about automated negative thoughts. When you start thinking that you can't complete your assignments, when you are worried about your assignments, and this is when you start developing all this irrational belief system. Okay, this irrational belief system begins from you. You choose to do it. You are the one who decides that you want to think that way. Remember perception? Perception, the thoughts, those two are two different things, yeah? But you are the one who could control. It is difficult. It is not easy. I wouldn't want to say difficult. It's not easy, but you can train your mind. Okay. So what happens if you start having these automated negative thoughts? So you start having this production of adrenaline, fight or flight hormone. Fight means I am going to be able to complete my assignments. Okay, if I'm late, I'm just going to call Dr. Alya and inform him, dear doctor, can I just have another day of extension if that's fine with you? Ask. Most of us are so scared of the lectures and they don't want to ask. Ask. Most of my students know if they ask Dr. Aziz, mesti dapat. You don't ask, you don't get it. Ask. All right? And that's when you fight. Means you are going to complete your task. But what happened is, some of our students, some of you, what you did is you fly. Means you don't finish or complete your work. And we lecturers have to literally hunt you down. Okay, hunt means because we care. So we're calling Suraya, where are you, dear? Your assignment is due. Can you please submit? Because we care. Okay, if we don't care, we're just going to give you your marks. Kosong, telur ayam, elak. Okay, but because we love our students, we hunt you down. But when you see, Dr. Aziz is calling, Dr. Alya is calling, you get you worry more. No, don't. Okay, the problem with all of this is because we do not communicate what our problems are. So what will happen if you start losing your rational thoughts, okay, and you flight means, and after that you have to drop your course, and you don't complete, kena tambah lagi satu semester. So you see, it all begins from here. Okay, betul tak? So then okay, one thing about us, we are all powered by hormone. I'm sure you know that. And the hormone cortisol will actually start, coming out. The body will produce cortisol. What happens is causes heart blockage. But do you know that God is so fair? He loves us. So what he did is, yes, production of cortisol, but there's this another hormone that will be released by your body. It's called oxytocin or cuddle hormone. So when you see, Suraya, when you see Anis, sulking away, go to her and give her a hug. Okay? Say, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Do you want to tell me what happened? Or if you're not ready, it's okay. I will be here for you. Just want to tell you that. All right? So remember oxytocin. So when you see that your friend is crying, when they feel down, go and hug them, or remember the power of touch. So just comfort them, okay? So early warning signs, when you feel sad, withdrawn, making plans or trying to harm or kill self, out of control, risk-taking behaviors, sudden overwhelming fear for no reason, feeling overwhelmed. So my son, just want to share with you, one of my son, he felt overwhelmed because he's in engineering course and he has to submit his product or something like. So he was building something, okay, a prototype. So he cannot complete. So last week we went to visit him. So I was talking to him. I didn't really talk much, but I brought another brother. His brother is with us in UM. So his brother was telling him, he sounded like he's a counselor, but he's not. He's doing law. So he says this, Abang, it is okay to be overwhelmed. It is okay to feel overwhelmed because that's the journey of being a student. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy this feeling of overwhelmed, that kind of feeling. It's okay. But most importantly is you know that you have support from all of us. Now back up. That comes from his younger brother to the older brother. And I was just smiling away. And today, one of his friends called me and said that, Auntie Aziz, your son did well when he was actually, presenting. So what is that? That is support. It's very important for you to support each other because if you don't, what happens is severe mood swings. It starts from feeling, alamak, I cannot do this, I'm not good enough. Okay, this is what happened most of the time. I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I just can't handle this. And then you start feeling low. This is what we call in psychology self-fulfilling prophecy, where you start believing what you said because you always say that I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not good enough, everybody else is so clever, I'm not, so I can't do this. You will start believing that. Trust me. So let's avoid thinking that way. Let's just motivate ourselves. Can we do that? And when that happens, if you start thinking negatively, then there's drastic changes in behavior. And you notice your friend that starts, moving away from the crowd and not, trying to isolate. They started isolating themselves. Okay? Tolonglah. Go to them and ask them the question, are you okay? Do you want to talk? It's okay if you're not ready, but please know that I will be here for you. Okay? Do that. Now, I just want to tell you the difference between stress, anxiety, and depression very quickly. Stress, top 5 most stressful life events. This is from statistics, yeah? Death of a loved one, grief, okay? Divorce, moving. Moving can be one stressful event because I remember one of the kids I had when the mom has to move from KL, Subang to Nilai. Okay, so the son, one of the son was actually badly affected. And we never thought that it could actually affect the younger ones, but it does because they were fearful of not having friends around. Okay, and then major illness, injury, and job loss. And the consequences is because you have to understand that stress affects your physical health. Stress is good for you because your adrenaline, the hormone adrenaline will be pumping. Your heart will be pumping. It helps you to stay alert. Remember, runners, if you once upon a time were a runner, bila you dekat garisan tu kan, and then you heard the sound, bang. Okay. So what happened is the adrenaline rush kan, and your heart will be pumping the blood like kan all over the body, boom, boom. But you run like mad. Okay, it's good. But if you have too much of stress, then that's the cortisol thingy. But like I said, God protects us always. So support, give your friend a hug because it will make you feel good too. Okay. So now consequences, digestive health issues. It's very common for all of us to have butterflies in our tummy. But do you know that Stress could actually affect how your digestive system works. And you start having sakit perut, you cannot go to work, you cannot go to school. School means university lah, huh? You cannot do things because you have issues with your tummy, digestive system sebenarnya. That is due to stress. And it will start affecting your immune system, sleep disturbances. So you know what we do usually if we have clients who come to see us, we'll ask simple questions. How are your sleeping hygiene? How are your eating habits? Eat too little, tak okay. Eat too much also, stress. Okay? Now, acute stress versus chronic stress. Acute stress is something that's less than 3 months, short term. Chronic stress, if you do not know how to control it, you can actually fall into the category of chronic stress more than 6 months. And what we're concerned about is if you do not handle it well, you could actually fall into the category of having depression. But it's not necessarily true, but what we worry about if you go there. Anxiety is also part of you. Anxiety, when you're worried, anxiety ni kebimbangan. So you worried, your hands trembling, kan biasalah kan, especially presentation. When I see my students trembling, I will always tell them in this voice, it's okay, take your time, stop. If you're not okay now, let's just take a moment until you're okay, and then you begin your presentation. Okay, so that's what we do. And you start having this rising blood pressure, and what we are concerned if it triggers panic attack. I have actually seen one of my students when I actually instructed her to become the lead because she was a little bit quiet in my class. So I told her, I know that you can handle this. And I know you are capable. And I remember that she started trembling and panicking, but all of the classmates were there to support her and cheering her up. And we gave her the moment that she requires. And we told her, it's okay, take your time. We waited for 2 minutes, and then she started again, and she started talking, and then she started trembling again. So we gave her another 5 minutes, and we just wait. We were so patient. And today, if you are listening, because I shared the YouTube link to all my students too, if you are listening, you know I'm talking about you. Congratulations, you have done well, and I am so proud of you. Okay, so now anxiety, if you do not have anxiety, if you're not anxious, you will not be wearing your mask. Okay, you'll not be wearing your mask during the pandemic. So what happened? If you get that Delta virus, maybe you're no longer around. Betul tak? So anxiety is also part of us. Do you know that? But too much of everything is not good. Okay, now let's go into depression. Similar to anxiety, depression is also part of us. If I ask you a question of Suraya, how do you feel? If you do a DAS 21 test with me this week, and I know that last week Suraya has to attend 3 debates, probably 3 presentations, and to complete 3 assignments. If I ask her the question this week, she would probably falls into the category of depression, extremely severe maybe. But you have to understand, this is not disorder. This is just that feeling of yours that is, too deep. And you do not know how to control or adjust. Itu normal juga. Again, what we are concerned if it's too long, prolonged. Okay, yang itu yang kita risaukan. And you start having this self-harm and suicidal. So now, what I want you to do is to, this is what we always do. Seeing things through depression glass. Okay, depression glass. Why do I say that? Because now Suraya is wearing glasses. Suraya, if you don't clean your glass, your spectacles every day, what will happen? Tak nampak kan?
It's very foggy.
Yeah, it's oily and then you can't see, berabuk, so you can't see clearly. So you have to clean it up. Kalau boleh nak letak wiper kat situ, ting, 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 automatically, right? Especially if you put on the mask and then it will be foggy. That's what happened to all of us, right? So that's what happened when you see things, your perception, and you start seeing things from the depression class. When you start saying that you can't do anything right, everything is terrible, I'm worthless, I'm horrible, I'm overwhelmed, I will never. Can you mute them? Can you please mute them? Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. I'm a horrible person. I will never be happy again. The pain will stay with me. I do not want to live anymore. I hate life. If you start saying this, I hate life, I'm in a horrible pain. We counselors, we are very concerned because then we will ask, do you have any thoughts to self-harm? Okay, so we will ask that question, especially if you say, I do not want to live anymore. I hate life. So then our antenna will start working. Ting, ting, ting. That's a signal for us. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is stop. Yes. Stop right there. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I'm nyanyi. I'm suka menyanyi. So that's right. Stop right there. Take the glass off. Clean the glass. Okay, get treatment. See your friends, talk to your friends. See your counselors, see your lecturers, talk to them. Because you know what? Then you will have a more clear view ataupun a clearer view. Okay? Cakap dengan budak-budak TESOL ni ataupun yang English ni kena betul-betul. Sekarang kena condemn pula saya ni. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Okay, now, I just want to share with you that stigma on mental health. When we see someone, like yesterday I was just explaining to my students, if you see someone, okay, now I want to ask you this question. Suraya, because I can only see Suraya. Suraya, if you see someone walking down the street and the baju is koyak rabat, torn, and then probably just wearing a brief without wearing pants, what are your thoughts on that person?
I think he's probably like a crazy person, like not in the right head because of how the society is.
Exactly. The first word I would say, mad person, orang gila. Okay. We are the one who created that stigma. We are the one. Okay. We are the one. So we will start judging lah. Itu yang saya kata tadi. Perception will start judging. Okay. Then when you see your friends that's feeling a little bit low, dia tu lazy. He's malas. Okay. And then cowardly. Doesn't want to present. Cowardly. So you look at my face. Cowardly. Malas. It's so easy for us to say all those things. We label people. And what if that happens to you? So always put yourself in that person's shoe. Okay, so that is the stigmatization, the labeling that we do on people, that we say, we judge. Itu sebabnya I said perception is very important. For me, once upon a time, I said what Suraya said, the same thing. Orang gila. Dia lari, takut. Now, I'll be wondering, because I have really changed the way I look at things, right? Remember that first the picture tadi tu, where you saw yourself, imagine that's yourself trying to hold on to that string of cyclone of emotions, trying to be in control. So you need not judge people. You need to understand why your friends are having these experiences. How can you help them? Empathy is very important. Okay? So I think you can read this because I'm going to share the slides with Anis later. Yeah. My friend thought I couldn't have depression because I had good things in my life. I'm driving a car. Everybody else is driving Kancil. I'm driving Azia, okay, bigger car, for example. And then I score A in most of the subjects. I'm okay. But that's not how depression works, okay? They are just putting on a mask, okay? So I want to share with you that tips, rather than saying that you have a stressful life, let's change it to I will learn how to come back on track and live a balanced life and leave no place for stress. Imagine your cat, cognitive, way you think, get up in the morning. I always tell this to myself. Never fail telling this to myself. If it is to be, it is up to me. I repeat, if it is to be, it is up to me. I am the decision maker. The decisive factor semua tu depends on me. I am the one who look at things, it's my world. So I want to have a quality world. What's in my quality world? I want to have positive thoughts. Dulu my quality world is I want to have money, lots of money. I want to have big car. I want to have big house with bungalow with what do you call that, swimming pool. I want to marry anak raja. But that's not what my quality life is all about now. Well, my house is slightly bigger than the old house. Yelah, because as you age kan, and then alhamdulillah maybe earn slightly more, and then you can get a bigger house. But I don't have a swimming pool. So am I happy? Yes. I have only a small pond, like this small a pond for my fish, but I'm happy. So what is in my quality world? It is about seeing my students being happy. My quality world is when I'm happy. It's no longer about monetary, but it's okay. From younger people have different values. Okay, my values have changed. So we adjust. So what is in your quality world? Now, I just want to share with you because the topic for today is all about regulating your emotions. So when you experience emotional distress, yelah assignment tak siap kan? Rushing to complete your assignment, right? And then you've got quizzes, you've got your tests. How do you react to things? It's always about your reaction. So I just want to share with you, anak-anak didik yang saya hormati, saya kasihi. Remember 90-10 principle. 90% of things are within your control. It's in your hands. You decide. But we learned about statistics. We learned about apa orang kata tu sampling error. So 10% of things is not within your control. If you have done your best and your friend is unhappy with you, you cannot control your friend's emotion, right? So ikutlah Azwan Ali, Diva Azwan. Why bother? Why bother? Why bother? I like to replicate him on just that lah. Huh? Why bother? Why bother? Why bother? Okay. So it's all about your reaction to your surrounding. Tak Allah, you have been giggling aja kan? But I'm glad that I make you happy lah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Why bother? Why bother? Why bother? 90% you control. If there's a cup, okay, imagine this scenario. A guy wants to go to work. He has a small family, young family. So his wife is also working, busy in the kitchen. And they've got two small children, 4 years old. I'm just creating this, 4 years old. And then another one is a baby. So when he came down, he was wearing a white shirt and he said to his wife, darling, I have to rush out because I have a very important meeting. Now, that little girl was like, daddy, eating his cereal. And then the coffee, the wife puts next to the little girl, 4 years old tadi. And the baby, of course lah, was sitting in the baby chair and then eating away. Okay, so not baby lah, toddler, 2 years old, imagine lah. And then imagine, but daddy, I want a hug, I don't want a hug. Please don't leave yet. So daddy, please give me a hug. And all of a sudden, accidentally, orang kata spilled the coffee. And the coffee spilled on the baju, white baju sama. So what happened? Kotor kan? So what do you think is the reaction of that guy? Upset, angry, because that's only normal. Okay, he will be upset. And then what he cannot control kan? He didn't control ialah his anger. And he started screaming at his girl, kan, at his daughter. You should be more careful, Suraya. What is wrong with you? You just heard that I told mommy that I'm in a blah, 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 blah. He rushed upstairs, came down again. He wants to give his wife a kiss. His wife said, no, just go. And then he realized that the daughter had been crying, didn't finish her cereal, and didn't finish her orange juice, and she was late for school. And the wife was also angry because she has to also go to work. She has to tend to the boy, the little boy, the other toddler too. And they were all crying. And he was late to work. Now, imagine, change that scenario. If he would have said, it's okay, darling. I'm sure you don't mean to do it. Come, I'll give you a hug and I'm going to change my shirt upstairs. He hurries upstairs. He comes down. The wife will be, thank you, darling, for not getting angry, right? And he goes to work. He will not be late, probably. Everybody's happy, yeah? So it's all about your reaction, your choice. Whether it's how you judge things, okay, looking through others' eyes, or whether you want to be mindful. Okay, now I want you to talk about mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindful, now I'm going to ask Suraya again lah. Sorry Suraya, sikit masa lagi I take ya. Suraya, what did you have for dinner? If you have already had dinner?
I haven't had my dinner yet, actually.
Okay, now what do you have for lunch?
I had rice with chicken.
Okay, that is the normal answer that we will receive if you ask people some questions on what they had. If you are mindful, you will say that I have rice with probably chicken rice lah. I'm just creating this up, and the chicken rice, it was a bit dry, but the chicken was tender though. It was really nice. It was not chewy as normal, and I love the soup. It's not too salty. And I remember drinking a cup of coffee after that. Oh my God, the coffee is just so tasty. I can still taste the aftertaste is still lingering in my mouth. So that is mindful. You are aware. But most of us, we are not aware. Kita makan macam robot. Nyam, 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 and we leave. So we are not aware. Please, take a moment to be more aware. Self-regulate, into tadi I already talked about judgment and then self-regulation. But what I want you to do is when you are mindful, when you are aware of the 5 senses, smell, what you see, because it will actually link to how you see things through your lens, judgment tadi kan. So regulate your emotion by first, before you get upset or before you get angry, take a step back. 3R. Remember this 3R. Take a step back, retreat. Okay. Retreat. Lepas tu rethink. Then only respond. Retreat ataupun retract, rethink, respond. You know, but my students know. Kalau my students are listening lah. Kalau Dr. Aziz dia nak membebel, I'll be like, because I don't want to get upset and it's so difficult for me to get upset. But sometimes I do get upset. So that's what I do. Then I'm a baby. But when I'm a baby, it's not with anger because I want to educate them. So that's what I do. So regulate your emotions. Okay. So I think I'll stop here. So I'll pass to Suraya again. Thank you. Back to you, dear.
Thank you so much, Dr. Azmawaty, for the insightful sharing. I'm sure all of us appreciated what you shared with us today. So now let us continue to the most awaited part of the talk, the Q&A session. Please do type out your questions in the chat box, or you could open your mic to ask your questions. So maybe to start off the Q&A sessions, perhaps in order for the others to gather their thoughts, I would like ask a question personally for myself. Okay, so the first one is, if I usually have anger issues, does it mean that I have a bad emotional regulation?
Okay, that's a very good question. But before that, I was reading your chat. It's so funny. Okay, ants from a black hole. Be careful, a black hole, yeah? Never ending, yeah? It's like abyss, yeah? Be careful. So please do not fall into the abyss. Kalau you fall into a small little hole, then you get up, it's okay. You can still climb up. And if you see there's this one girl, Alya, and she's been laughing. That's one of my students. So she's here. I'm sorry that she joined this group. She's supposed to watch on YouTube. I'm so sorry, but I think good also that she's here. And I see that Iza says, read set, that's very cute. Okay, to answer your question, do you have a bad emotional regulation? No, I would, because as counselors, we don't judge, okay? But I would want to know what causes you to, get triggered easily. Okay, what causes you to be angry? So let's go back to the root cause. Okay, Suraya, what's the root cause? So then we will always go back to the family. Then we'll start interviewing lah. Not interviewing, we'll start doing our counselling session lah. We'll start asking you so how's your relationship with your family? Okay, and if you said fine, tell us. Because fine is usually not fine. So we want to know more. Let me share with you. If you have issues that is unfinished, okay, it's unfinished, it will always be carried through your life. Okay, if you kept it far too long, it's going to be it's going to be from bad to worse. So you need to let it out. You need to let that steam out. Okay, so my way is I will just communicate. Okay, for example, Leah, I'm upset with you. I wouldn't say upset. Leah, I'm not happy with this. Please do this again. I will communicate because I believe in the power of communication. So what triggers you to be upset always? I'm not going to say that you have a bad emotional regulation, but I would say that you have to understand what is your trigger point and learn from there to control. Remember that 3R tadi, Suraya? Retract, rethink, then you respond. Because at the end of the day, the next question that will follow up is, how would you feel, or how would your friends feel, or how are the reactions of your friends when you are with them? Then you would say probably, they always don't like to hang around with me. They go out, having lunch with other friends. And I will ask you the next question pula. And how do you feel about that? Okay, then you probably will say, I would like to join them, probably lah kan. So they will say, so what are you going to do about that? So that's when you are aware. You are mindful, then you are aware, then you start changing slowly lah. Change, walaupun the progress tu very slow, but it's okay. Okay. Now next question, please.
Okay, I'll read out the questions that we have compiled. Okay, Doctor?
Okay.
So one of the students asked, Doctor, have you had a random burst of emotion during your classes? If you do, did you apologize to your students?
Me. I'm sure they are listening. I usually talk to my students. Okay, I don't get upset very easily. I don't scream and shout at my student because I need to preach what I believe in, right? Because I'm a counselor. But I do tell them from time to time to please, okay, do things professionally, because registered counselors, we are always trying to be, not trying, we have to be professionals. So if I do not groom them right, okay, if I do not groom them right, then I fail as an educator, in the sense that I will have to tell them. But I don't believe in having bursts of emotions, because I always believe as an educator, we are educating. And just yesterday, some of them, one class, the seniors lah, they had a farewell party for me. The first thing I said, I would like to apologize if ever I have scolded you, yang terperasan, tidak perasan, because I never said sekolah. I use the word bebel. Saya suka membebel. The reason why I nag is because I want to see the best. Okay, the best that comes out from University of Malaya, counselling students lah, counselling students. So I want to see my students be somebody. So, and they were like, no, doctor, no. So I feel good lah. So yes, I do apologize, and I don't feel there's anything wrong to apologize, because it shows that you're such a strong person if you do that. So jangan malu untuk apologize kalau kita buat salah. Mengaku salah itu lebih baik. Thank you.
Hi, Doctor.
Hi, Iza.
Doctor, I want to know if there is a thing called high functioning depression, because
Oh,
I
there
read
is.
it somewhere on internet.
Yes, there is. Now, I will start talking about high functioning anxiety dulu lah. Okay. Okay, excuse me. Now, what happened is, Can I just have a sip of water if you don't mind? I tutup video sekejap ya. Maaf, kering tekak pula. Now, high functioning anxiety is those people who are actually, they work well, and these are the people that's well loved by the bosses or even by the lecturers or their friends for that matter, because they can actually produce work, and they usually get A. But little that they realize that they are people pleaser in a way, because you work well because you are anxious. Faham tak? There is this underlying emotions of anxiety that pushes you to do your work well. Okay? And talking about this, thank you for highlighting. I cerita about myself. I believe that once upon a time, I was one of them, with high functioning anxiety. Because I want to make sure that because I'm a personality, I have a personality type A, okay, personality type A, that I want to be a perfectionist. My students know, okay, with Dr. Aziz saying it pun kena betul, buat balik. If you cite citation, right, you cite wrongly, do it again. No excuse. I am up to that extent. And if you want to produce something, it must be really good. Okay. So that's who I am. Okay. And I want perfection. What happened is you get tired of things because you have that set of expectations. You set that expectation. In this case, I set that high expectation. And I realized that it's not healthy at all, because without realizing, you want to be a people pleaser. Of course, not people pleaser in the sense of bodek boss lah, no. But people pleaser, people say that, can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. Can you do this? Yes, 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 yes. Jadi apa? Yes, man. In this case, yes, woman. So I got very tired and I fall sick. Remember that you can fall sick. So then I realized that, hey, Aziz, it's not healthy for you. It's not even healthy for your family, because having high functioning anxiety, in a way, it pushes my boys straight A's. I don't tolerate all this. It's not good at all. So that's when I share with you how my boy in Malacca UTM felt, how I feel. I mean, how I find out that he couldn't complete his work. So I realized that of course, itu dulu lah ya, sekarang ni Mami Aziz dah jadi counselor, so it's much better. So because I understand, okay, that was when I wasn't a counselor. That was then. So then I realized it's not healthy, it's not good, and I fall sick very easily. So now, the same thing works for depression, high functioning depression, where you tend not to show people that you're having problems, everything is okay, that you can handle it on your own, you don't need people to do it. It's very tiring. So yes, you need to know that, contohlah macam you all, you have to do this kind of activities, and you think that you can handle it on your own. But you are not superwoman, you're not superhero. And sometimes people ask me this question, okay, Iza, and they ask me this question, you are a superwoman. I said, I'm not, but because I'm very passionate. So different between high functioning anxiety and passion, it's very closely related, but passion is something that you enjoy doing it and you don't really, macam orang kata passion, yes, you do it, but when it's time to rest, you rest. So now, Iza, what I do to me, myself, and I tell myself that if I want to live longer, I need to be balanced. Self-care is very important. So I am being honest with you that once upon a time when I was in the corporate sector before I joined UM, well, the onset when I first started with UM pun, I masih macam tu. Then I adjust because I don't want to fall sick. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. At the end of the day, you need to know what is best for you, and you know that perfection, there is no such thing as perfection. There's only this song by, forgot the guy's name, I love the perfection of the imperfect, whatever the song is. And what I'm trying to say is take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you need to be balanced, because health is wealth.
Okay, Doctor, thank you. So we have another question, if that's okay with you.
Okay,
Um,
okay, sangat.
Okay, so what if counseling is not enough? I have been to counseling, but I feel like it doesn't really help me.
Okay, it doesn't help you. Now that's a very good question. So sometimes, relationships with your counselor. So we're not talking about intimate relationships, but we're talking about therapeutic relationships. So that's what happens sometimes when you cannot, you cannot see eye to eye. But usually, when we talk about counseling, that seldom happens, because I know that counselors are always very professional and they know how to handle. But one thing that I want to ask this question back to whoever that posed this question: are you ready for change? Are you willing to change? Because, Isa, because if you're not willing to change, nobody can help you. Not even your parents, not even the counselor. Because at the end of the day, it is up to you. Remember, if it is to be, it is up to me. It is up to you. It's your choice. So counseling will only works. I always tell this to my students. Counseling will only work if our client wants to change. But we don't give up easily. We will have different approaches. We will actually manage. We will learn. I mean, my students are very well versed how to manage their resistant clients. We do have resistant clients, and they started talking about the same issues again and again and again and again. And this is what we call vicious cycle. Vicious cycle. Okay. So my question is, are you willing to make that change? Tepuk dada, tanya selera.
Okay, Doctor, I hope that answered the question of whoever was asking. So there's another student that asked, is it considered a good way to release stress by taking a long nap?
Is it good to relieve stress by taking a long nap?
Yes.
Okay. Why not? If it helps, why not? Because at the end of the day, kalau you nak distress, okay, for example, Dr. Alya and I, okay, we've been busy this whole week. And this whole week is really hectic for me. I think most of my students know my calendar. I always share with them, this is my jadwal, because sometimes they feel that I don't want to see them. So this is my calendar. So, tomorrow, I told my husband, okay lah, kita sleep in. Sleep in. Maksudnya lepas kita dah solat subuh, solat duha, after that kita lepak-lepak je lah. Kita lepak tengok movie, we're not gonna go out. Betul, kalau kita nak tidur, why not? Okay. But the thing is that we're concerned about if you take long naps and you don't want to get up. You don't want to get up, you just want to sleep. And you could remember that emoticons when emojis when you first saw tadi kan. So those are the 6 basic emotions. What if you cry uncontrollably, and what if you take a long nap, you don't want to get up? This actually, apa yang kita risaukan, these are symptoms of anxiety atau depression, because you just want to take long naps. But if you feel stressed, it's physical health, you want to take long nap, why not? Okay, so kena faham soalan perbezaan tu. Okay, now, doctor, I think I like this question. What do you think of some people in TikTok self-diagnosing with mental illness? Also, what to do with, what do you think on people doing content that goes signs that you have insert mental health problem? Is it helpful, or is it creating unnecessary concerns? I don't really understand the second question. What do doctor think on people doing content that goes signs that you have? What is that? Ya, saya tak ada TikTok, saya kurang faham. What do you
It's
mean by
like
that?
it's like a general genre, like for example, there are videos that goes like, oh, signs that you have depression, so signs that you have anxiety. So like the line to is like for
Okay.
anything, any mental disorder that can make sense.
Okay, I got it now. Thank you so much. What do you think of some people in TikTok self-diagnosing with mental illnesses? Okay, if you even do DAS21, it's available online. I'm going to share with you that. My students are trained to conduct DAS21, those third year and above, third year tak, maybe final year, okay. Third year pun maybe, but the rest year 1 and year 2 maybe not. So we always tell our students to properly explain to our client, your client, okay? Because you know what? If you don't, they may start self-diagnosing. Self-diagnosing is something that's very dangerous. Okay, you start generalizing, for example, you start reading kan, you start reading, contoh, you know horoscope. You know horoscopes, right? In papers, for example, or even on FB, baca lah horoscope and then all of a sudden you say, that's me, that's me. That's what we call, I lupa pula what's the term. It's okay, when later if I remember, I sebut balik But that is a term that we use to describe something that is not real, but it feels real. Okay? Now, self-diagnosing may make you think that you're actually having that problem. Okay? Self-diagnosing, like for example, bipolar, when you have two different emotions, depression ataupun low mood and high mood, anger ataupun happy, hysterical. So that's bipolar, two different feelings. Where unipolar, bukan polar bear, is only one emotion that is the low emotion ataupun depressed or more. Okay. So now you have to understand that if you are not being diagnosed by professionals. For us counselors, we cannot diagnose people tau. But we learned about that. Once we know that they have probably having these symptoms, kita terus akan refer to psychologists, clinical psychologists, or even psychiatrists in PPUM. But we will never tell them, Suraya, I'm sorry, but I think you are psychopathic deviate. I'm sorry, siapa Iza, I think you are actually paranoid. Dan seorang lagi siapa ni, nama dia Eng Li Yi, I'm sorry dear, but you having hysteria. Seorang lagi psychasthenia. You don't even know what psychasthenia is. You pergi cakap dekat orang. So we don't do that, okay? So what we do is, I can see kalau dia ada anger issues, hypomanic, for example, we will say that I can sense that you are, as what you have actually told me, that you have anger issues. We focus on that, but we never say even the word hypomanic because dia akan takut. Dengan manic, what is manic? So please do not self-diagnose. Go and see experts. Okay, I want to share with you a short story. Yeah? I have a client who self-diagnosed. Okay, self-diagnosed, he said that he has, and he's only 16, he has ADHD. And he said that he has bipolar. So I kept telling the mother, please bring your son, because I saw that it's something that's very serious, because this has been happening since he was in primary school. It starts from a school teacher who says that he is not a good student. Padahal dia ni budak pandai tau, masuk asrama dah. Okay. Then when I saw him, he was already 16. This has been going on far too long. So I saw that this is already very serious. So I told mom, bawa dia pergi a psychiatrist ataupun clinical psychologist to get him diagnosed. Mom refused. Suddenly, 2 months later, mom called me that the son took pills because he thought he has these issues. So people, please don't self-diagnose. Worst comes to worst, I'm sure you have counselors there. Worst comes to worst, get Anis to give you my phone number and talk to me. Okay? But I'm sure USM pun ada counselors there. I know Dr. Yasmin, she's a friend of mine. Please get help. Jangan risau, you're not going to be judged. Because nowadays, people are more open to all these mental health issues, not disorder, even disorder pun, they are more open. So get help. And now, again, in TikTok, about signs that you have, if they are just sharing about early warning signs, that's fine. But if they are actually stereotyping, itu bahaya. Don't. Okay. Even counselors, we don't do that. Okay, now, hi doctor, I'm currently diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2 by a certified doctor. But when I tell some of my friends, they say I'm overreacting and that many people have mood swings too. And I shouldn't have seen a doctor. Why do you think that so many people have this view of bipolar disorder people or BPD, even though we've seen a doctor? Okay, now I'm going to tell your friends, okay, Nodiana, I am very happy that you are very frank here for sharing. Thank you. You are such a brave girl. Good job. To those who have been telling Diana ni, okay, that she's overreacting, please stop doing that. Okay, for those who have been judging, stop, because it is real. Okay, mental health issues, mental illness, it's real. But what we are doing, we're not helping, is when we kept saying that, stop overreacting. Kawan pula, for example, yeah, somebody has depression. And usually depressive people, they don't want to get off bed. They want to sleep all the time. They want to take long naps until the very next day. Long naps, not just long naps like 2 hours, 3 hours. Tak, long naps until 3 days in a row. They don't want to get up. Malas lah kau ni, busuk lah kau ni. Stop saying that. Just say, babe, I'm going to be here for you whenever you are ready. Okay? There's some food here. Support lah. This is what we need. You know, I form a mental health advocates group in UM amongst my students. You guys can be mental health advocates too, because you have listened to my talk and you understand what mental health advocates do. We want to educate people about mental health literacy kesihatan mental that people doesn't understand. It's okay. For these people, you know, they're unwell. We need to be by the support. Okay? Exactly, Halira. If they have nothing nice to say, they might as well zip their mouth. But the problem is, they don't have that real zipper, right? Otherwise, we can do that. Kalau boleh, kita nak letak a muzzle on them, but we can't, right? Mulut tempayan boleh tutup, mulut orang tak boleh tutup. So, remember 90-10 principle? Sayang Diana, remember this. You can control 90% of what people said. 10% memang you tak boleh control. Leave them be. Yes, you feel emotionally distraught. Mungkin Diana rasa sedih because you don't have support. But remember, Allah ada kan? Okay, but not only that. You take care of yourself. These are all noise, pollution. Okay? Tengok saya passionate kan bila bercakap. Pollution, noise pollution, biar pi. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, just be nice. Support each other, okay? USM kan hebat. Apex University. Diana friends with us je lah. Is religion help to solve mental problems? Okay, you, when we talk to people that have issues, it depends, okay? People like me, I'm already at this age and I know theories. It doesn't work already if you talk to me about theories. Dr. Aziz, amalkanlah irrational thoughts to delete your irrational thought. Let's start with rational thought. It doesn't work for me anymore because I dah faham. I want to hear spiritual, religious kind of things from me. Okay, sayang, please mute. Thank you. Okay, and that's how I talk to my students. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is it depends on the person. But if you are talking to somebody that's having depression, maybe bipolar at that point of time, ataupun OCD, probably they don't want, they cannot even think of all this. They are already in that situation. Okay, so all you can do is support. And at the same time, once they are more mindful, that's when you can start doing that. Tapi tengok orang, okay? So it doesn't work for everybody, but religion does help. Spirituality does help. It gives a positive impact. But we usually, because as counselors, we don't judge, okay? So kita akan tengok, and we will only say it if we feel that they're comfortable to talk about it. All right. How should we react when we were informed that one of our friends are diagnosed with mental health illness? I've encountered this kind of situation, but at that time, I don't know how should I react and what can I do to help him or her. You were informed that one of your friends are diagnosed with mental health illness. You dengar dari siapa? Dengar dari kawan-kawan yang lain ke? You dengar from the horse's mouth, him or herself. Which one? Because if you start hearing from people, this is how gossip goes around, flies around, kan? So we are very concerned of that. But if it's true, you have to understand that people that have this kind of issue, sometimes they malu. It's a gun. They feel that they're not okay. But little that they know that it can be treated in a way that if they take medication, jangan pandang rendah dengan orang, ya. Because this world is round. It's like a ball. Okay? You can be kicked anywhere. You don't know what will happen to you the next 5 minutes. Okay? So when I talk about polygamy pun, kan? So don't be too sure of that, that your relationship is perfect. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. As simple as that. So what I'm trying to tell you is support. But sebenarnya, like I said, some people don't want others to know. Okay? But you can just go there and say, hi, how are you? And try to be friends slowly. And then the next day or probably the next week come again and just said that, hey, if you have any issues with your assignments, I'm here for you. You can just ask me anytime. Build that relationships. Build that therapeutic alliance with your friends. And once they trust you, they'll start opening up. Okay? And don't judge. Perception. Remember perception. How you perceive things shows the person who you are. Okay, shows who you are sebenarnya, indicates the person that you are, the kind of person. So be careful. Satu jari tunjuk orang, 4 other fingers are pointing at you. So let's do this instead. Terbalik kan? Okay, just kidding. All right. Okay. Thank you, Suraya.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azmawaty, for all your answers for our students' question. Now, with that, we have reached the end of the Q&A session. On behalf of the PBLT Society, we thank you all for joining us today. Before we end the session, let's have a photo session. We hope you can turn on your camera for the photo session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you, Fatin. Terima kasih, Syafnila. Thank you semua orang. Hi, Abdullah. Thank you, Rebecca. Terima kasih for listening in. Okay, dah. Jom tangkap gambar. Thank you, Abdullah. So sweet. So sweet. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you, Amani. Terima kasih semua. Kalau saya nak jawab thank you seorang-seorang ni, letih kat ni. Lia Zakaria, you thank me later. That's my student. Hi, both of you. Punita. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. So now I'll take the pictures. Okay, we'll start with the first page. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Okay, so I'll be taking it again. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Mini love.
Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih. Dah boleh tidur. Have a nice weekend.
Now that the photo session is over, I bring to your attention again that more programs like this will be conducted again in the future. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, to keep updated with our contents. The link for attendance and MyCSD has been provided in the Webex chat and the YouTube live chat.
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I
Not
just
yet.
want to interject. I hope that you are all not here just for the attendance purposes. I do hope that you get, because I know that's always the case, but I do hope that you get, what do you call that, knowledge from my sharing session and apply, yeah? Remember CAP, okay, psychological makeup. Remember 90-10 principle. Alrighty? Take care of yourself. Thank you, Samina.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, I may leave now, yeah?
Okay, yes, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
nice
Doctor.
Thank you,
day.
Dr. Alya.
Thank you,
Have a
Doctor.
nice day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have a good
have a
weekend,
good
Doctor.
weekend.